and so I could just drop a piece in and have it as a calming effect in my herbal tea in the morning.
All right.
Oh, here they come.
There they go. This is, I love this part.
I know.
So
I
much
know.
fun.
It's herbal tea in the morning with the world, or coffee for everyone else.
I don't understand people like you. I mean, I just don't get it. How do you get through the world without coffee?
Quite happily.
Good morning, everybody.
Aldi.
Tell us where you're coming in from. So we get India. Otherwise, I'm going to guess, and that may be really wrong. Sri Lanka, Egypt. Oh, here they all come.
Really
Holy
fast.
smoke.
Holy cow. I thought it was my glasses, but I think it's the speed at which they're coming in.
Yeah.
Whole world.
South Africa, Malaysia, Greece. Always Greece. It's like, yeah, I'm looking out the window at the dolphins. That's kind of funny for some of us who are looking outside and it's really cold and snowy. Anyways.
Yeah, we just got another 25 centimeters last night. Good for us.
Portugal. Marilyn got up early this morning, just like me, in Chicago. And you got some folks from Toronto there.
Oh, yeah? It's way too fast for my eyes.
Australia, Bhutan, Jordan.
Creative Coach Cass.
Australia, Thailand.
Gosh.
Oh my
Spoke
goodness.
to all our local Culinary Federation folks last night, so we might get some early birds in from Toronto as well.
Awesome. We have Trinidad and Tobago. I think that's the first time for Trinidad and Tobago.
That's cool.
Yes.
My best friend was from there growing up.
And Martin, good morning from the Netherlands. Azerbaijan. Oh my goodness. Botswana. That's also. This is starting off to be a pretty good new year, everybody.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome.
I got Poland, Honduras.
Well, you're in front of me here.
I'm flipping back and forth. Once I came in too fast. I'm backtracking, actually.
All right. Florida. There we go. There you got a bunch of Toronto folks here. Nice.
Yeah, right. I posted it, shared it, talked about it, and put it in our newsletter too. So rah.
Shauna, you're amazing.
Well, that's what all the boys say. And sometimes the girls too.
Dubai, there we go. Honduras, also I think a first, maybe. I used to work in Honduras. Great place. Maldives sounds better than Chicago today.
Myanmar. Oh, Pakistan and Portugal. Really eclectic bunch of folks. Love it.
All right, we're going to wait. Let's see, what time is it? We're going to wait exactly like 30 more seconds because we still have a bunch of people coming in. The numbers are rising steadily. Thank you all for making the time, taking the time out of your day, out of your evening. Some of us, like me, out of your early morning. So
some people are having lunch and some people might be getting close to dinner. It's great to share all of it, right?
Yes, some people may have a glass of wine already. Anyways, all right, well, let's go ahead and get our session started today. So welcome to everybody. Welcome to the new year. It is always a pleasure to have you. Who's having a bottle of wine? Love it. Okay. Anyway, to have you joining on these webinars where we, as many of you know, we get together and we talk about sustainability. We learn different parts of sustainability, and we interview and talk with people who are really smart and have a lot to offer. And everything is always about moving us as a global community to action, to getting the job done, to helping change the world little by little in our little corners of the world. And so today we're talking about Food Heroes. It's a program that we at World Chefs have worked with Isaac and worked with the Electrolux Food Foundation on creating a program that teaches young people about sustainability waste. And I think I'm getting an echo. All right, there we go. Anyways, the really cool thing is, I just want to throw out a number, because when we talk about success, and it's great to talk about, in a new year, to talk about success. From 2018, we have educated, ready for this, over 40,000 kids in 31 countries. Yeah, woo, that's huge. Now, the only thing about that is, how many kids are there in the world, and how many other countries have we not touched? And for those of you joining us today, it's about action. It's about moving us to think about how can the people get involved in this amazing program. So for that, we have brought 3 people that represent the 3 organizations who have worked very closely on the creation of Food Heroes, on the changing of Food Heroes, because, well, there was this pandemic thing that happened, and just want to, offer their advice to all of us. So with that, I'm going to do 3 really fast introductions. The first is Shona, who is there. Shona, raise your hand and say hello. Shona is an instructor at Umber College in Toronto, and she's also the vice chair of the Feed the Planet Committee, and is amazing. And I'm looking at her bio, and it's just way too long. So she does a million things, lots of volunteering, and she's just an amazing human being. Kate, there we go. There's Kate, and Kate is, I'm going to read this long title. You must have huge business cards. Community Investment Program Coordinator, Electrolux Food Foundation / Electrolux Sustainability Team. And I have had the pleasure of working with Kate for many years on lots of things, sustainability. And again, she comes to us from the Electrolux side of the equation, and is just a dynamic person. In fact, we talked to her on one of these a while back. And then Ellis, there's Ellis. Ellis is a global project manager for ISIC, and more specifically, she is program manager for Food Heroes for ISIC, which means that she works with the other 2 organizations to create this wonderful thing called Food Heroes, and to keep it moving forward. And she is incredible political science, and has worked all over the world: Brazil, Croatia, Bahrain, and many other remote ones, which I'd love to have you tell us about sometime. Anyways, with that, unmute yourselves, because to further introduce you guys, I'm going to do a lightning round, 3 questions, okay? So I want answers that are like 10 seconds. Are we ready? 3 panelists?
Yep.
All right, here we go. And by the way, for all of you listening, they have no idea what I'm going to ask them. So the first thing is, what is the best food you've eaten in the last week? 10 seconds to think about it.
Easy.
Okay, go,
Right.
Shona.
I'm Brazilian. I'm Brazilian. I need to say rice and beans. It's
Rice and
amazing.
beans. Awesome.
Nice.
Yes.
Shona.
Made sausages yesterday all day, and then ate them with rapini last night. Homemade.
Yum. Kate.
I will say the same. I'm Russian, so I'm really enjoying caver. So I had some caver sandwiches.
Nice. Okay. Next question. What was your favorite food growing up?
My grandma pancakes.
Okay. Ellis.
I have no idea.
Too many
Never
options.
thought about it. Yeah, I never thought about it.
All right, Shona, go.
Yeah, I hated food growing up, but look where I am now. I used to like mustard sandwiches. It was so terrible. I'd hide it from my mom so that she would think I was having ham and cheese, and I just put mustard on bread and eat it. It was awful.
The things we learn about people. All right. And last question. It's Friday night. What do you do for fun?
Usually I invite friends over and we have a wine evening.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on a beer side.
And I cider. It looks like we have something we should do together.
Diverse crowd. Yeah.
We could do it together or virtually, and I would include cheese possibly as well. with
Yes,
that.
cheese platter, please.
Yeah.
Am I sensing a global happy hour about to start happening?
I think so. Maybe not right
Yeah.
now.
I support.
Early in Canada.
All right, so let's get this underway because we have a lot to talk about and we have three of you. So, um, my first question for everybody who's listening today is maybe just jump back in time a little bit. How and why did we start this thing called Food Heroes? And Kate, you were there from the very, very beginning. So maybe I'm going to toss that your way to begin.
Thanks, Chris. Well, I think it all starts with a dream or like with an idea that we want to have a better world. And then from our side, from the Electrolytes Food Foundation, we really thought like, what is the best way how we can engage with the younger generation? Because we've seen also the quite frightening data where kids are not really aware where the food is coming from. I remember still this survey where it says that like 9 out of 10 kids surveyed were really saying that avocados are being laid by animals or cheese is coming from a plant. So it is quite creative. And yes, some cheeses can come from a plant, but the reason is like we really need to establish this connection between the food that is in our tables, how it's served, and also where is it coming from. And with Food Heroes, we learned a lot about the worldview of some children, the ones who are really enjoying eating sushi with their parents. Sometimes we're saying that maybe the rice fields are behind the cafe here in Stockholm. So there is this lost connection. And of course, we understand that we cannot always provide the right answers. We do not know all the answers ourselves as an adults, but also the context in every country is so much different. So this content is more about how can we all start asking the right questions about our food and where is it coming from. So this was the bigger idea to educate the younger generation and engage on the topic on healthy and sustainable eating. And then I would say back in around 2018, we started to collaborate all together with World Chefs and ISEC on this, and also the organization called World Largest Lesson, who had this know-how, how to deliver lessons related to sustainable development goals. So it started from there. And then our big ambition was to really, as we presented this in World Chefs Congress in Kuala Lumpur, how can we join forces and do this together? One member of World Chefs, one Electrolytes employee, and one ISECer, and make this impact in the world for our children. Now the program grew a little bit. It's not only for small kids, it's also for young adults too. So it's evolving constantly too.
So let's talk about that evolving thing, because this was something that was taught in person. And it was like many things in life going swimmingly well. And then all of a sudden, COVID. So who wants to talk about how we pivoted? Because I think this is a great lesson for, when life goes a different direction, what do? Do you just give up or figure something out? Who wants to talk about that? Ellis?
I can go on this point. Basically, it was a huge change for us in ISEC as well, since we do majorly exchanges. So we couldn't have people going from one place to another, but still we have a huge responsibility in what we want to do and as a youth-led organization. So for Food Heroes, we were talking about thinking about the perspective of how we could still impact people and also bring more people different backgrounds, since we wouldn't need people to be physically involved in a lesson. So together with Isaac and World Chefs, we were thinking about how we could make this happen and still have that feeling of we are thinking about something different. We are giving a good experience to kids and to the young adults. That was all together, starting online lessons and lessons for young adults. And until now, we are having very good impact, and we are having very good results, taking in consideration that just last year we educated more than 10,000 kids, more than 12,000 kids, I mean, and it's been a great opportunity for us to increase our impact.
Shona, do you want to add anything to that, or maybe where we are today? Because we kind of started like in person, then we went fully not in person, and now where are we today?
Sure. So, the in-person was, it was nerve-wracking. It was also new. It was the lesson plan. Kate and us and the team, we had all put it together. We went into classrooms full of students and hoped it worked out. and it rolled really well. You have all the tools to make it effective. I was confident in it because I had helped develop it. So I brought a few chefs and young chefs with me to deliver it. Because then if they see how easy it is, then they could share it as well. So fast forward to now, now I want to get back to the people that I know locally and say, you have kids, you have a small group of people. There's ways you can do it where you're kind of using what Ellis has done online and making it sort of a hybrid with the people that you can connect with safely and deliver this same message and do it with people you know, right? Make it something that is fun and interesting and it's helping to change and shape things one child at a time.
So how big do the groups have to be? I mean, if somebody listening today is like, okay, do I need to get like 30 kids together? And
No.
let's talk nuts and bolts for a minute. How do you actually do it? Just
Uh,
walk me through a class.
I could start, Alice. You guys can jump in. For me, I find someone that I know and love and have a person that you know. And if they have a child or maybe your goddaughter or niece or nephew or friends' kids, just sit with them and talk about it. It takes an hour. It's something they can do. It can be small groups. It can be one or two people. You share it back, and I mean, it's going to have impact no matter how many people you're doing it. If we're doing it one at a time or if we're doing it 30 at a time.
Yeah.
Anyone else walk me through the process a little bit. And real quickly, so Shona, it doesn't matter. It could be 2 people, it could be 3 people.
It could be any size, right? It really is a matter of delivering the message and making sure that those young people are engaged and understanding that their choices matter in what they're having when they're eating.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Shauna. The most important is to maintain the same message. And in the end of the day, how many kids are impacted at once, it doesn't really matter. Obviously, before we were developing this with having an idea in mind that it will be from 20 to 30, 35 children. But I think what we want to maintain is this impact that we're making. And in the end of the day, we just need to continue doing that. And also the toolkit itself was designed in a way to give the flexibility. Again, we understand it's so difficult to create a content that will be equally relevant in all of the countries around the world. So it doesn't really suggest the advices that will be relevant only for one country. This is just the structure, let's say, that you can use for the lessons. Essentially, we're talking around about 6 exercises, several topics that are being addressed. And we maintain this throughout our different programs, not only Food Heroes. We define sustainable eating as this 3 main things. We're talking about incorporating the plant-based alternatives in the diet. We as well saying that why and how to minimize the food waste when we're eating, and as well trying to encourage people to eat more diverse, trying new ingredients or recipes. Obviously, we simplify those messages for the kids, narrowing down this only to those things that they can do together with their parents at home. So as long as this message is maintained, you have all the flexibility and freedom to adapt this to the local reality and use your knowledge and experience to bring the best out of this lesson to the kids that you're educating.
So Kate, what I'm hearing from you is that, there is a framework, right, for people to follow. It's not like somehow you have to, invent this. The tools are there. The tools
Correct.
are there for everybody to use, and they're not hard to use, right?
No, and perhaps Lean can be the help for all of the world chefs. It's all uploaded on the website. And when we're saying Food Heroes program or toolkit, what we mean is the set of several presentations, PowerPoint slides with the description. If you don't know where to start, we have all the tools. We have a couple of webinars recorded how to deliver the lesson. And we know for sure that there are so many World Chefs members who already participated in this program who could share this experience as well. So yes, there is a framework booklet that you can read, a webinar, and all the printouts if you need them.
And you can also personalize it to where you exist.
Exactly.
So
I
this
can,
is really, go ahead, Alice, sorry.
It's just one very important point, listening from Shona and Kate as well. I think the most important thing on the Food Heroes is to be able to listen to the kids and to listen to their experiences, what they have passed through and what they are curious about. This is the for me also is the main thing about the lesson, making kids engaged with that topic, and they for sure want to share something. This is something that they engage a lot with the lesson.
Yeah, I agree.
That-
And I think the main challenge was to maintain this level of engagement throughout the online classes. That's what we try to work on. How can we change a little bit the exercises so it will be still interesting? And it gives us lots of opportunities as well. We were discussing on our internal meetings that now we're no longer so attached to the actual geolocation. Then if somebody speaks Spanish and joining from the Spanish Federation of World Chefs, let's say, can deliver lessons in other countries that have Spanish as a main language. So it gives us the flexibility and freedom to impact even more people, given that we're moving towards more online classes as well.
So it sounds like the people you're teaching, these young people, they get pretty engaged with this. I mean, are they, talkative? Are they, I mean, are they offering ideas? How does it feel when you're teaching one?
They're super engaged. I can say, I'm sure Alice can say the same. Virtually and in person, they want to participate. They want to share what their favorite meal is. They want to learn more. They want to go back and say, I'm going to tell my parents all about this. And it's super great to see them so excited about something so important.
We keep hearing feedbacks. I mean, the year 2019 was a golden year for the program, I would say. And we did lots of workshops, even at our facilities at the Office of Electrolux. So later, some of the teachers were reaching out to me or parents, and some of them were saying, what did you do to our kids? Now they don't allow us to buy these plastic bags in the shop, and they're getting so emotional. I mean, we're really happy what you did, but also it became really difficult. Like they're really demanding. And that's also was one of the idea of the programs, like how can we influence behaviors of adults? And honestly, one of the best way is to do this through kids.
I have to say from the very beginning, we realized that we could be very stealthful and we could change the house through the young people. So yeah, and it's worked. That's worked.
It worked, definitely. And I think the beauty of the program as well, that we're talking about such a complex issue, again, connection to sustainability, health and food. It is complex, but it's surprising, but kids really get it right away. And they know sometimes so much more. I really agree with Alice. Sometimes it's just a matter of hearing what they have to say, what is worrying them. And again, given in the world that we're living now with the climate crisis and how it's connected with food, kids are really, really engaged, especially like young adults. And as well, from the teacher's perspective, what we hear is that this engaging content helps them to understand the issue from a different perspective in more fun format, but as well talking about pretty serious stuff.
That's awesome. So, we're talking to chefs here, right? So this is, world chefs and all the chefs and that. By the way, those of you who are sending in food comments, you're killing me because I haven't had breakfast yet. So whatever, just mentioning. It sounds so good. Anyways, so Alice, tell me a little bit about how the organizations can work together, because we're three very different organizations, and this is one of the really cool things about Feed the Planet, how these three different organizations work together. Tell us a little bit about how we can join forces specifically for this.
This is as you said, like it's the most beautiful thing that we have people from such different backgrounds and is still with the same objective. So in Isaac organizations are doing some lessons, and we did lessons throughout the whole 2021, and we will be doing more lessons this year as well. And people, every time that we talk about the partnership and that we have Electrolux and World Chefs by our side, they are amazed. And schools also, like the places that we are going to teach kids as well. So if we have chefs joining us in teaching the lessons, if we have chefs also bringing more from the reality of the country, it would be amazing. Also because we have a toolkit that is a general toolkit for everybody. But as Kate said, we still have the challenge to bring it more close to the local reality of each country, of each city. So it would be amazing to collaborate in this sense as well, knowing more technical stuff that still we can use our connection to the kids to bring it in a more easy way.
That's great. So chefs, power of the white jacket, remember? So if you're a little bit, like, I don't know, I'd like to do it, but I'm a little bit, mentor, find somebody who's done it, reach out to us. We can connect you with people. We have Isaacers, they're called, all over the world who are doing this. Let's join forces, chefs, because Ellis, I don't know. I mean, is it powerful to have somebody who's a chef that's joining when you talk about this?
Again, sorry.
I said, is it powerful for a chef to join? When somebody from Isaac is teaching it, is it helpful to have a chef there?
Of course, it will be amazing that we will be more safe, let's say, and would be much more comfortable, and also for our experience as well, changing ideas and knowing more about the topic and sharing the experience, that at the end of the day, like I had this experience personally, and if I had a chef with me, it would even be better.
And listen, we have just
ahead.
a great example of collaboration of World Chefs in Malaysia and Isaac in Malaysia, where
True.
at the end of the lesson, it was really added some demonstration. And I think the beauty of it, again, is one thing is to say waste less food, but another way is to say, this is an actual way how you store the food better. This is what you can cook from leftover foods. And this comes so powerful. Again, we also did this a couple of times in Stockholm. Having a chef on board makes this lesson so much more powerful and engaging. That's 100%.
That's cool. All right, we're going to open this up to questions in a minute, but just really fast for the three of you. Are there any stories that personally, when you've taught this, anything that you've, I don't know, taken away that you heard or experienced that was really very meaningful, or something that you've learned personally from doing this?
Yeah, I can go first. I remember I was teaching one of these classes and I had a few other folks with me, and I had brought a couple of young chefs in their 20s, and they said, "Oh, chef, I don't know anything about this subject. You're going to have to do all the talking. I can't, I don't even know. What if they ask me a question? I don't know the answer." I'm like, relax. I'm like, you cook already, you know what you know, and you're going to share. And so we're in the classroom, and the kids, it's like 30 kids in grade 3. So it's like herding cats. They're all over the place. And I see this young chef with one of the students, and they started to have a really in-depth conversation about their dinner, how they could change it, how they could explain it to their mom. And this young person it's just a conversation. And they started to change the way this young person saw it. And it's not impacting me, but I'm seeing what we're doing is changing those people, the people, and those people. And they tell two friends, and they tell two friends. And that aha moment in all the chaos was like, oh, super amazing to see.
For me, it happened very recently in November, when I went to facilitate a class, and there was a kid that was saying, "Oh, but my sister, she just like she thinks that just eating meat, we will have we are having a meal, a proper meal, but not all the time we have meat in our plates because of, I mean, things in Brazil are really crazy, and the price of meat is." Well, and he was saying like, but then all the time she's like fighting with my mom because we don't have meat, blah, blah, blah. But now I'll teach her that we need to, like, when we are eating other things, that like to make, to change ingredients and these kind of things. And that touched me a lot. And like, I'll take her to the market with me and my mom to buy fruits and to buy veggies and blah, blah, blah. And it was someone that had like, I think, 9 years old, 8 years old, and I was like, sometimes I don't even go to the market with my mom, and you are doing that. So yeah,
I love it.
Exactly. I think it's similar for me. It's like how much this lesson, we didn't have this intention 100%, but it does put the parents in the spotlight so much. Once we had the open lesson where parents of kids were also joining the lesson. And then at the end of the lesson, there is a questionnaire, like how would you evaluate your eating habits? Also, there are a couple of questions that are connected a little bit more into packaging, how you choose food. And then I still remember this look on the boy's eyes, who really turned to his mother and said, like, we're still using these plastic bags. And everyone was looking at the mother. So that was like, she really, I think, wanted to hide somewhere during this lesson. But I think this was so also visual, like what's happens when kids are coming home, and that they're so open and eager to change their behaviors, and that this content is so meaningful and important for them. almost like I feel that they are being heard in their struggles, like how they perceive the world nowadays.
Awesome. Well, I will say for everybody who's listening and thinking about, maybe I want to get involved in this, like a lot of things, when you give, you tend to get a lot back. And so I would strongly encourage you to do that. Really fast, couple questions here. And if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the Q&A. We have time for just a couple here. One that's really interesting is coming in about the kind of the topic of sustainability from a plant-based diet. And so what are you teaching in Food Heroes? Is it, is it saying you have to be vegan or vegetarian? Is it talking about eating less meat? What's the overriding message there?
Maybe I can say about the tone of voice, and everyone can elaborate. I think the most important that we educate the facilitators. We are really avoiding things like right or wrong, because again, in many cases, we don't know what is the best option ever that can be globally accepted. So no, we are not even using these words. We're using encouraging more plant-based, and we're talking about the power of eating more vegetables and fruits. And we're also saying that vegetables and fruits is not the only thing. It's also about grains and oils and everything else in between. So we're really also exploring the diversity. And of course, it's a little bit more advanced for young adults, but for kids, we're really saying that just reconsider options, like start asking those questions. But really, as a facilitators, trainers of this lesson, we need to stay away from, I don't know, nobody should ever say, no, you shouldn't eat your burger. This is wrong. Like never say that during the lesson, I would say.
Yeah, you want to think about accessibility, right? Not everybody has access to everything all the time, but if you have the choice, this is teaching them about choices, and every choice matters. And if they realize that every choice matters and they start making choices towards more plant-based, or they start making choices to have more healthful plate filled, right? And knowing where that food comes from and that they're getting it locally sourced and they're having an impact and they're thinking about the packaging, all of these pieces bring to their plate what they should be having, right? And that's a healthful meal that is brought to them in a more sustainable way.
Yeah, I also think it's about like showing how food can be transformed and how we can take all the qualities that sometimes we don't even think about. So like making them, how can I say, something that attracts their the kids, the students attention as well, not just like because it's beautiful or because it's on the television, but how we can use better other things and how they can think about this as well.
Perfect. So one of my New Year's resolutions is to try to end these things on time. So we're going to go over just a couple minutes, because I have one last question for the three of you. And if you could just answer somewhat succinctly, that would be great. One last piece of advice for, you have right here, I'm looking at the number of people here, the hundreds of people who are joining us today from literally all over the world. What is your piece of advice for everybody listening today when it comes to Food Heroes? Kate.
I would say really encourage to learn more about what sustainable eating is about. And if I can a little bit talk about our platform, I encourage to go to replay.com that we created specifically for people who want to learn more and get better in facilitating this lesson. So don't focus on just like how to deliver the lesson for kids, educate yourself first.
Ellis.
Mine is about be open to talk and to listen other people experiences. So every time that it's exactly this, like we don't need to have 20 people to start teaching something or to start changing experiences, but you can do this as simply as with your nephews, with your with kids that you know, with students that you know, to other people. So be open to educate yourself, to listen, to share experiences, and to try new things.
All right, Shona, you're gonna wrap this up.
Right. So they've both said two really amazing pieces. I would say for me, as I had said earlier, is to have someone do it with you until you have the confidence to do it on your own. If you're feeling that you maybe you haven't got the knowledge, as Kate said, educate yourself. But in the meantime, join, be a part of it. Do it now. Don't wait until it's perfect or you know everything. Get in there, get dirty. You're educating young people. They're going to give you the feedback you need. There's lots of people globally, trust me, right, Ellis? There's lots of people
Yeah.
globally who can jump on board and help you with this, right? So don't feel you're alone or that you don't have all the tools. It's there. It's ready for you waiting.
Excellent. And I see it. There's a quick question. It was replate.com. So
Yeah, I cannot answer in the chat. It's replate.com.
So real quickly, let's wrap up. I first of all, I want to thank the three of you for taking the time to be here today, but also, you know, you bring so much passion and experience and hard work. You know, I think we don't always recognize how much time it takes to create something like this and to keep it moving forward. So for the three of you, you know, thank you for everything you do. A big shout out, of course, to Lynn, who's hiding today behind the picture of World Chefs, who makes everything happen in Paris and makes these things happen. And without her, we'd all be lost. And just a huge thank you to all of you who have joined us today from all over the world. Please take a moment to think about, as you go into the new year, maybe getting involved with this, because we need you, and we need you in every country you're in to help teach the young people about this, because we know that when we reach the young people, that's the future, and it's also the present, because they will affect the families that they live in. So please contact us if you're interested. We would love to have you involved with this. The more people we do it, remember I said 40,000 people in 31 countries since 2018. I would like to see a huge number at the end of 2022, and instead of 31 countries, have like 60 countries. And with
That
all
would
of
be
you,
great.
yeah, well, you know, this is the thing with all of you who are here today, that's completely possible. So with that, I wish you all a wonderful day. Thanks for joining us. Again, thanks to the three of you and to Lynn. And I look forward to connecting with everybody next month, last Tuesday of the month. And we'll have something fun in store for you. Once again, thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for
Thank you.
thanks for helping, Chris. You
Thank
are
you, everyone.
amazing as